What did Vorden do to provoke the second-year students? And how far will they go to punish him? How will Quinn react to seeing Vorden in this state? And will he try to intervene? How will this event impact the dynamics of the school?
At that moment, Momo pulled a piece of string, pulling back the curtains, revealing what was behind them. As the curtains were drawn, a badly beaten-up Vorden was on display, tied to a large wooden plank. Both of his hands were slotted into holes, while his body was made to stand, and it looked like his legs were wired down by some type of ability. Just then, several of the second-year students pulled out carts that seemed to be filled with large black circular stones. Momo picked up one of the round balls and held it in his hand. "This here's a metal ball that has been embedded with the power of a beast crystal," said Momo. "When the Earth had found a way to mix the beast crystal with our own weapons, it was a turning point in the war. But what they don't teach you as first years is that beast weapons need to be activated with your ability. Once activated, they can give out extra power. The higher the beast crystal used to make the weapon, the higher the power. So us second years have decided to give you from the beast weapons class, and some of you other first-year students, a shortcut. Today, we will show you how to activate a beast weapon using these balls." That's when a first-year student raised his hand to ask a question. Excuse me, but does any of the teachers know about this?" Then a second-year student had come from the side of the assembly hall and immediately punched the student who asked the question in the face. The second-year student repeatedly punched the person until he eventually passed out. "Are there any more questions?" Momo asked. The first-year student stood there silent in fear. Now, usually your weapons wouldn't change color when activated, but as I said earlier, these balls are you just for the sake of helping you learn how to activate your weapons. Once the color is changed, that means it has been activated and its strength is increased. Now today, we will be practicing target hitting. The board here is special, you see. Even a bullet wouldn't be able to penetrate through it. Only the power of a beast weapon can. So today's lesson is to throw the ball and hit the target. Simple, right? The second years are only doing this because they know they can get away with it. They have been here longer than us. Oh, I almost forgot. The crazy boy here has been targeting us second years one by one, thinking we wouldn't notice. The second years then poured out the crates of black beast stones. They all fell out and rolled onto the ground floor. There were more than enough stones there for each student to throw at least one ball at Vorden. As expected, not a single person had volunteered. "Those bastards! How could they do something like that? Quinn, go call Leo. If it's him, he might stop this mess." But as Layla turned around to look at where Quinn was, he was nowhere to be seen. "Pick me! I don't mind having a little try," Quinn said with a smile, standing at the front of the students. As Quinn volunteered himself next, Momo couldn't help but think he was up to something. He knew the two of them were friends, so why would he volunteer? Quinn started to look around at all the second years in the room. There were a total of 8 second-year students standing by the edge of the hall, 4 on each side that had around 50 first-year students surrounded. There were also 2 students by Vorden, 1 on each side of the board. These students were the weakest of the bunch. It was unlikely that any of the first years would help Quinn out, and even the strongest first year in the room was Erin, and even she was a level 5. It was no wonder, even though the first years outnumbered them, they were afraid. As Quinn held the ball in his hand, a message had appeared. "Basic tier beast weapon, round ball. Would you like to activate? Strength of weapon will increase by 5%. Activate." The black ball started to glow. It glowed brighter than any of the balls the other students had held before. How is that possible? He was able to activate the basic tier weapon fully, Momo thought. Wasn't he just a useless level 1? "Why do we have these powers?" Quinn said out loud. "Isn't it to protect ourselves? To fight those who harm our friends and family?" "Quinn, no, don't. What are you doing?" Vorden mumbled, but was unheard. "I have taken a beating my whole life, and I was weak back then. What do I care if I take another beating now?" Quinn then chucked the ball using all his strength as hard as he could. Instead of the ball hitting Vorden, though, like everyone suspected, it landed straight in the student's stomach, standing by the side of the board. The power was so strong that the student was lifted off his feet and knocked out in one blow. 50 EXP gained, 175 of 400 EXP. "What the hell are you guys doing standing there? Get him!" Momo shouted. Quinn knew there wasn't much he could do against all the second-year students, so he wanted to create as much havoc as possible. The two level 4 students who stood by Momo's side started to come towards him, but instead of Quinn running toward them, he suddenly ran toward the crowd of first years behind him. He bent down and picked up 2 more of the black balls on the floor and started to head for the weaker students around the side, while weaving in between the first-year students. Then, when he was within distance, he had found his targets, the weak level 2s who were standing by the side. Once again, he threw out another 2 black balls, aiming for them at full strength. One of the students managed to avoid the black ball, but the other wasn't so lucky, getting hit and knocked out. 50 EXP gained, 225 of 400 EXP. This was Quinn's plan. So far, every level up, Quinn was able to obtain an ability. He didn't know what he would get, but he sure hoped it would help him win the fight. "What are you guys doing? To anyone who manages to hit or capture that guy, they will be free from any form of punishment," Momo said. "Why should we listen to you?" Layla said. "Just a second ago you dealt with one of us for asking a question. Who knows whether we can trust you or not?" "Fine, you don't want to help? Attack them all!" Just then, the 2 level 4 students who were chasing after Quinn no longer cared about injuring the first years. But before it could even reach any of the students, an ice ball was shot out and froze the water attack in place, causing it to fall to the ground. "I wasn't going to get involved, but you guys attacked me first," Aaron said. "Ha! Even if you're a level higher than us, do you really think you can take on 2 level 4s? Just then an arrow came shooting out, aiming for one of the students, but before it could reach him, an earth wall was raised. "She won't be alone," Layla said. With Layla and Aaron distracting the other high levels in the room, Quinn felt like this was his chance to deal with the rest of the level 2s. Out from the side, a long, thin object came lashing out at him. It was too fast for Quinn to react, causing him to be hit across his body. Not only did the attack pierce his chest, but it also sent him tumbling to the ground. 13 of 20 HP. "You have caused so much trouble," Momo said. "I don't know how you can activate the beast weapon so well, and your surprise attacks seem to work, but you will always be a weak level 1. Before Quinn could even get up, he was already surrounded by the other 6 second-year students. Vorden, watching the whole thing from the board, felt useless. "I have to help him. He's only getting hurt because of me. This is all my fault," Vorden said. "If you want to help him, then let me take over," a voice said in Vorden's head. Inside the assembly hall, there was one boy who was unsure of what to do, and that was Peter. He had been there the whole time from the very beginning, but chose to hide in the crowd so he wouldn't get picked. When he saw Quinn come to the stage to try to help Vorden, he felt even more guilty. Why? Because the whole reason Vorden was tied up on the slab in the first place was because of him. The other day when the second years came to see Peter, they had come with a proposal. Help them get Vorden to come to the assembly hall, and he would be protected by the second year. Of course, Peter felt like he had no choice. If he refused the second years there and then, they would have tortured him until he agreed anyway. So what was the use of fighting back if the end result was the same? Meanwhile, at the center of the assembly hall, Aaron and Layla were busy confronting the 2 level 4 students. "Hey, do you mind if we switch?" One of the second-year students said. "My water abilities are weak against her." "I see you want a level 2 user, huh?" the other student replied. "Oh well, just finish her off quickly." With that, the 2 second-years charged in for the attack. The water ability user went after Layla, while the earth user went after Aaron. As the earth user got closer, he stomped the ground, and a spiked earth mound followed, heading right for Aaron. However, he didn't have much time to think. With her other hand, Aaron had formed an ice spear and threw it towards her opponent. Suddenly, he felt his legs start to feel cold. When he looked down, he noticed they were starting to freeze. "For a second-year level 4 earth user, you are incredibly weak." Before the boy could react, Aaron had whacked him in the back of the head with the hilt of her sword. "How did she win so easily?" the first-year students watching said. Although Aaron had finished her match quickly, the same couldn't be said for Layla. The second-year student threw out his fist, and a ball of water came out towards her. It hit her dead in the stomach and sent her flying back towards the front of the hall near Vorden. "Hey you, free me, I can deal with him." "What?" Layla said as she looked up, noticing that it was Vorden who was speaking to her. "Come on, hurry, we don't have much time. Touch my leg." She still had an odd feeling in her gut, telling her Vorden was a bad person, but right now it was the only person she could rely on. She crawled over to Vorden's side and touched his leg as he had asked. Then the shackles tied around Vorden's arms and legs started shaking. Vorden was using Layla's telekinesis ability, but it was weak. It wasn't strong enough to break from the shackles. Layla then lifted her hand, and with the two of them working together, the shackles were finally removed, and Vorden was free. Finally, I get to come out. It's been a long time. As the water user continued to run forward now that Vorden was free, he was more cautious. The last time they had fought with him in the assembly hall, they remembered Vorden having earth powers. At the time, the last person he had touched was Peter. Vorden then started to laugh hysterically and charged towards the water user. It was an unexpected move. The water user panicked and threw out 2 lines of water blades. These were just as sharp as an attack from a regular blade, but could be thrown out. As the blades came towards him, at the last second Vorden managed to twist his body in an odd way, avoiding both of the blades. He then lifted one of the black balls from the ground, using his telekinesis, and threw it out. However, the attack was easy for the water user to block, forming a water wall stopping the ball, but then, crack! Something was felt on the back of his leg, and at the same time a crunching sound was heard. The boy immediately fell to one knee. As he looked at Vorden in front of him, he could only see Vorden with his hands held out. Then another striking pain was felt through his body, this time on his other ankle. Without realizing it, Vorden had attacked him from behind, pulling the other black balls towards him. The water user was too focused on the attack in front. He never thought about an attack from behind. Also, it had come as a surprise to him that Vorden was not an earth user as he thought. Vorden then lifted up 2 more black balls and swung his hands down. At the same time, the balls came rushing down at a crazy speed, hitting the student in the forearms, breaking them at the same time. The student screamed in pain, and with his arms mangled, he could no longer use his water ability as he could before. Finally, I, Rayton, have returned.
What secrets will be revealed about Vorden's past and his true identity as Raten? How will Layla react to Vorden's transformation, and will she regret helping him escape? Find out in the next episode.
Subscribe to the Pocket FM Fantasy YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notifications. Check out our channel for more exciting shows.